2025 marks the 10th year I've made this type of video for YouTube, and let me tell you something. 2025 marks the most difficult time I've had making a worst list video, because this music you're about to hear, that you might have already heard, what happened to society? What happened to culture? What happened to art? No wonder the AI overlords want to take everything over, because look at what they have to compare to. And never mind that the plans for the intro for this video never worked out. We're gonna scrap all that because I have a lot to get through. So the time has come to count down.
Just let that motherfucker run.
Let that bitch run like some past one, maybe two. What it do? Fucking with some super glue.
The top 10 worst hit songs of 2025.
Son of a bitch. What makes you think I wanna hit a blunt full of spit? You full of shit. I'm moving solo, smoking dolo.
If you sought out this video, you know that 2025 saw a dearth of pop music from the traditional avenues. Corporations crafted their top 40 radio playlists with such a small sample size of music. One wonders if Nestle had stolen all the resources before allowing everyone else to scavenge the remains for scraps. Undocumented Spotify fraud throttles the flow of music to discover and allows listeners to insulate themselves in what makes them comfortable. When the world exhausts on the daily, it leads to an increased desire to swaddle in a blanket of comfort shows and familiar music from the past. My worst list for 2025 begins with a song that took some time from its release to qualify. And it comes from an artist almost everyone remembers from roughly 20 years ago. The planets should have aligned for a successful return, but the only alignment seen involves rhythmically challenged party guests following instructions like trained seals. Look, all because the Cha-Cha Slide guy died in 2023 doesn't mean you'll have any luck jumping in his grave after the fact.
Stick with what you know.
When you have a 5-year head start and no one has even made a Wikipedia page for your song, you leave less of a lasting impression than Zebra Stripe. Yes, the Cupid behind Flex is the same man behind his eponymous Cupid Shuffle. The first song is by Cupid, as in Cupid Shuffle Cupid.
Oh my god, he's doing stuff?
Right?
Good for him.
I feel for the guy. Most artists behind line dances tether themselves to a life of one-hit wonderdom. He strove to make more of a mark than that of a clear one-hit wonder without giving any evidence of other ideas in the tank. After Atlantic Records dropped him in 2009, he desperately clung to any iota of fame. Rather than waiting the requisite 2 decades to license his song to irrelevant commercials like Tag Team or Salt and Peppa, he re-recorded his one song to market the McCafe in 2010.
You gotta try it for yourself. You gotta try it for yourself.
Well, I guess I'm happy for him that he's found this success and doesn't have to resort to singing his own songs on The Voice as a regular contestant. How weird was that?
To the right, hey, not to the left.
Oh, well, I mean, if it ain't broke. He's like, I did really good with this.
I've seen ovens with more range. Even CeeLo Green asked what business Cupid thought he had there, and CeeLo has no room to talk regarding public behavior.
The minute I got off the show, it was like I won. Because the phone started ringing and people wanted to start recording new records, and I started doing my fitness DVD and I started recording new music.
Cope. All the cope. Now we have Flex, Cupid's next surefire hit of a line dance song, released in the year most associated with social gatherings, 2020. I understand wanting to strike while the iron is hot, but this pig went cold long ago. Adding insult to injury, Polo G put out a song with the same title in the same year. That made it to number 30. I doubt this made it to 30 states. So what has Cupid learned in the 14 years since his last and only hit?
This is like a show on Tubi kind of quality. Where are the instructions?
Flex.
Everybody else already knows how to do it.
Well, he took note that T-Pain followed the career trajectory Cupid so desperately craved, because this song sounds like such a Pain knockoff to a T. You know you have no charisma when you sound like a cheap imitation of someone whose primary gimmick entails sounding like a cheap imitation of the human voice.
Slide to the right, slide to the left, right foot, left foot, then turn.
Should I hit the dance floor or put my left hand on blue?
I like that they give instructions, because I was just like,
That's all he knows how to do. The Cupid Shuffle has verses. No one remembers them.
no. Because I don't know how I'm supposed to remember all these dances. Like, I've gone to weddings and people are like, oh, why don't you come up and do this one? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know it.
I hope Cupid spent a little less than 14 years cooking this song up. The last thing you want to do when convincing people to dance to your song is to bore them. And Flex only has a drawn-out chorus and the same solitary verse 4 times. Thong Song got away with this, but Flex has no Beatles sample or playful raunchiness to make up for its lack of content.
Sir, you are no Thong Song.
Yeah.
When he says flex, that's kind of like the freestyle. You can move any kind of muscle you want.
Cupid's getting up there in age, though. Flexing might pull something.
The repetition stems from wanting to make a splash on TikTok, I'm sure, but this genre requires people to dance to it for longer than 30 seconds. The only demographic this guy has earned in 20 years is wedding DJs that inevitably buy Cupid Shuffle to play ad nauseum. The average person is not buying anything from Cupid. Plus, we DJs want to keep dance floors filled. It's our modus operandi. So having a dance song with only 64 seconds of content won't help us.
You know, compared to his previous work during the Cupid Shuffle, this seems like a letdown. It's slightly catchy, but it's definitely no Cupid Shuffle.
Has anyone out there ever expressed a desire for more Cupid songs? No one has nostalgia for Cupid when people continue to play his one song all the time.
I don't know if this has the same star power as his shuffle.
I can't believe I've never heard this, because like white people love a dance with instructions, and I feel like this would have come up at some point. When did this come out?
2020.
Yeah, that's really unlucky. I'm gonna assume he came up with this. I gotta know if he like came up with it during lockdown, or if it was like beginning of the year. He's like, this is the year I come back. This is the year I put out a line dance, and it's like, okay, but everybody do it 6 feet apart. That sucks. That's a shame.
Hey, crowds 6 feet apart just makes the crowd look bigger.
It's true. Yeah, it works for Trump
Look how much
rallies.
room I have to flex.
Pon the replay, hit the DJ booth, tilt the DJ.
Is this at like a rodeo?
It appears to be a rodeo.
That's great. I love that. That's so random.
You know you goofed when you need to rely on the 69 Boys in the remix to change things up. And they just staple a verse on the tail end of the song that doesn't even follow the same rhythm as the dance steps you tried to drill into our heads the first 4 times.
Now, do the instructions in this part, do they match up with the dance moves?
Hey, right foot, left foot, turn with it. I'm moving mine, I move yarn with it.
So they have the DJ Intelligence 100, which is what I use for eligibility. And for 2025, this one made it to number 5, which is how often people requested it.
Wow. Never heard it once. It's much simpler than the Cupid Shuffle, which wasn't complicated to begin with.
Cupid doesn't make songs so much as he makes tools for wedding professionals. And I don't love putting this on the worst list because rating it poorly makes me feel like I've given a D tier ranking to an instruction manual. Congratulations, Cupid. You have the musical talents of an SOP.
I don't think I love the whole idea of what flexing is. So, are people supposed to flex their muscles? It seems like in the music video that she gives an example, they're supposed to act like they're having sex. Which, again, I don't know if I love that on the dance floor as a line dance.
Maybe you should get T-Pain to rewrite this because he proved with booty work that even he does this line dance thing better than you could ever hope to do.
I try to not pick songs specifically catered to certain people based on who's in the video, because I feel like that's cheating.
Okay.
I am willing to make exceptions.
Is this Christian?
You're always better. Oh, you're always better.
Speaking of returns from 2020 that no one asked for, Forrest Frank, one of the Surface's chodes that made Sunday best, pumped out Your Way's Better, a contemporary Christian song that does less for religion than the Boston Archdiocese sex scandal. Kirk Franklin has consistently made good gospel music for over 30 years now. And you have the gall to say that you wanted to introduce the younger generation to good religious music.
Jehovah Jireh provider, your way always gets me higher.
This might be the same venue that Cupid filmed his music video in.
These people clap on the 1 and the 3 for sure.
I swear, this new crop of faith-adjacent blasphemes thinks following the lyrical structure of Faith Plus One acts as a shortcut to success with the overly pious. When will people learn that these musical acts are just using code switching to manipulate the gullible?
Oh, that was a rough key change. Ugh.
This only nails down the dishonorable mention spot because the message of the song has no issues, but the music sounds too plastic to convey joy and too cheeky to carry any emotional weight. Nothing about this makes me remotely second-guess switching to atheism over 20 years ago.
You know, some people in the crowd are like, this is the worst halftime performance ever. Bring Cupid back.
Yeah, this is the one for the people that didn't want to watch Bad Bunny or Kid Rock. No, that's too much.
Besides, the only proselytizing I would consider involves Drewski's megachurch.
Cause I believe in Christ!
You know, in case you thought that code switching metaphor came out of nowhere.
They always have to put their hand up.
The harder I pray, the more salvation I'll feel.
It's actually really convenient for Christian artists because they can always do that because I feel like most people don't know what to do with their hands.
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, everyone hates Ordinary by Alex Warren. The internet took aim at this mid-fest in its coalescence of religious theming, subpar vocals, insincere lyrics, and hollow instrumentation. It only makes sense to place it on my worst list, right? I can't do it. Calling something mid and placing it on a list of the worst of something completely invalidates the meaning of mid. If the younger generations want to introduce this slang, at least remain consistent with the definitions. Ordinary as a title hits the nail on the head, and I find the song a solid 4 out of 10 and not nearly bad enough to etch out an entry. I guess we have no room for an immensely popular song in 12/8 time with an obnoxious melody. Right? We have pedophiles in charge of the nuclear codes and ICE agents scooping up anyone that doesn't look white. Do you think a bunch of unemployed K-pop stans scare me?
Dry ear, huh? It is the Ben Shapiro's wife of ears.
And a brief editorial note. I know that Hun tricks don't exist, but I will heretofore refer to EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Ray Ami collectively by this name, purely to condense words. Besides, no one refers to the Archies by their real name, so the precedent exists.
I do find this song a little annoying to listen to. There's a lot of songs I feel like I can listen to over and over again, and I feel like this is a little annoying.
Perhaps my hottest take of the year, Golden never sat well with me from the moment I heard it. Make no mistake, this song earned its place here due to structure and not vocal performance. We must separate the singers from the song.
And she has a very pretty voice. It's not that she's not a good singer, but I can't deal with the refrain.
And all 3 ladies here sound great. For the most part.
It's just not.
Every time I mentioned in passing that I disliked this song, defenders met me with the same reply. Oh, it's for children. Go easy on it.
I was devastated to hear that Golden was on the worst songs list. As a mom of a young girl, and also as someone who loves a good pump you up song, I love the song Golden.
It's one of the songs that my kids are into that I can listen to and not get annoyed. I can't remember the name of the group, but I'm pretty sure it's another K-pop group, and I typically like K-pop.
You've mentioned this in years past.
Yeah, but there's a group my daughter's into right now. I wish I could remember the name, but I don't like any of their music.
Is it Cat's Eye?
I think it might be.
Spoiler warning, every song is a children's song if kids like it. Assuming lowered standards due to the demographic perpetuates the infantilization of society, and the world has had enough deplorables speaking on behalf of kids. I wanted to give this song a fair shake, so I decided to watch K-pop Demon Hunters and see if the context of the film helped its cause. No, it actually made it worse.
So they fight demons, but she's also half demon.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's what the lines are. Congratulations, you can now suss out the plot of the movie.
Yeah, sure.
I understand that Rumi needs to caterwaul to drive away the demons, but the plot of the movie demonstrates that it fails. Of course it failed. Thank the plotting, rhythm, and rigidity for that.
Then it has that breakdown where it gets all emotional.
Yeah.
You know, so all the half demon kids. Well, it's K-pop, so I presume demon is white in this instance.
I'm gonna have to watch the movie now.
Plus, you know your song soars too high when they lower the key every time it gets performed live. Well, live. EJ's got a little Melodyne working in the wings and you can't convince me otherwise. That's why they took so long to perform it live. They needed to lower the key and readjust the digital tuning.
So not a huge K-pop fan, but I do really love BTS. So this part of the song I like. It's the refrain for me though.
Speaking of that high note, who decided the phrasing of the melody should emphasize the word born? If anything, the melody should lead toward B and place the emphasis back on Rumi, or the kids singing along. If you intended an anthem for the downtrodden, a doxology for the easily doxed, if you will, you need to wrap the melody back around to keep the focus on the singer, not the destiny itself. Tossing aside the vocals, the 12/8 rhythm makes this purportedly jubilant theme sound strangely militaristic. This part of the movie needs a victory lap, not a march signaling the call to arms.
Like, it sounds like people are asserting their dominance while being, like, ushered off to their mandatory military service.
Yeah.
I can imagine something like Jenny's, well, like Jenny, as a dance song, but I cannot imagine audiences dancing to this besides jumping up and down on couches, ruining the cushions.
I only have a lot more for this.
I think this only became as successful as it did because the film had no real merchandise to speak of, so the only thing parents could buy for a while was this song. Netflix pushed this as the second single from the film after the execs realized the rapping and takedown came at odds with the newly whitewashed zeitgeist. Case in point, the entire film comes off like a celebration of Korean mythology ran through a Crest 3D white strips filter. Besides, reworking the song into what it sounds like restores the Hanmoon and repels Guima, so metatextually the film says that what it sounds like serves as a better version of Golden. When the film says that better options exist compared to this hit, maybe we should listen to the source material.
I like to work out to it. I like to drive to it. I like to party with my 7-year-old to it. I've watched it bring joy to countless first and second graders. And I just think it's a fun song. So I think that it was unfairly smeared, and I am hereby petitioning to move Golden from the worst songs list to the best songs list.
Get ready for this to get licensed everywhere from people that haven't watched the movie. Looking at you, NBC, for throwing Golden in your Winter Olympics ads featuring Lindsey Vonn after her tragic accident. Not the hill I would have chosen to die on. I'll keep this short. The Jonases have no business ripping off the Bee Gees and, less obviously, Foster the People sit next to me. I guess losing Jon Bellion for this album cycle resulted in scrambling to piece together scraps of other songs hoping no one would notice.
Man, it pains me to hear the Jonas Brothers try to do this. A dance song is a dance song, and it doesn't have to be bad just because, oh, it's light, it's fluffy, and it's about dancing. But, I don't know, the Jonas Brothers just kind of lost their cool. I like the Jonas Brothers for being the Jonas Brothers. They don't need to be the Bee Gees.
I thought you guys still had a couple years before reaching middle-age burnout.
I love you, Nick. I love you, Joe. And Kevin, you're pretty sweet too, but...
Circling back a little, another point against Cupid. T-Pain even outperformed you in this video. Sad. Great, we went from beep beep to boop boop. I'll elaborate on why I dislike this song, but if you want a succinct thesis, then listen to this. Kesha and T-Pain saw the success of a bar song in 2024 and wanted to capitalize on that to diminishing returns. Two artists lauded for their originality have succumbed to trend chasing. pitiful.
You know, the original party songs that Kesha did were fun because everyone was just younger, dumber. But now that all that stuff with Dr. Luke had come out, it feels like an act. It feels way more like an act.
The verses feature such a minimalist beat despite what the reverb wants you to believe, and it discards most of those country trappings for, well, neither trap nor country. The chord progression of D major, B minor, F sharp minor, and G major loops the entire song except for the G major 7th extension after each chorus that withers away to nothing. Strangely, the standard issue of Kesha's 2025 album, Period, features this song as a solo cut. The T-Pain remix only appears on the deluxe version, but said remix debuted over 3 months before the album dropped. I never like when artists pull remix gatekeeping for sales manipulation.
It seems like, as with a previous entry Kesha has had on this list with Raising Hell, she seems she wants to find a black figure who is iconic in music and use them, and that'll make the song all better. And just like what she tried with Big Freedia, it's not working here with T-Pain either.
And unfortunately, we're also left with T-Pain, who I think we have learned has peaked, amongst all things, on The Masked Singer. Everything post-Mozart has gone downhill as well. Why we are getting two very talented people that just frankly seem washed up nowadays just really, really disappoints me.
And then we touch upon the songwriting. These verses read like the worst of Lin-Manuel Miranda's lyrical miracle spiritual nonsense.
I'm flying high, it's a miracle. I'm drinking spirits and spiritual.
Kesha! No one told you.
I'm a spiritual, lyrical, individual, spiritual, miracle, lyrical, individual, spiritual, miracle, individual.
Kesha wants to relate to the millennial experience by having a drinking anthem. Nothing wrong with that in theory, but the execution makes this bubbly fall flat.
The whiskey spilled, it's already gone.
Well, at least she avoided the trappings of having blatant underwriting to cover the costs of her album.
I'm feeling loose, I'm feeling light, I'm hella smooth, like Miller Lite.
Or not.
T-Pain is a national treasure and should be treated as such, which makes it a real shame to watch him go to waste here on this particular track.
I just pulled up in a brand new one. Bartender pulled me out some damn fluid.
You come at odds with your relatability when you throw in phrases no one actually says in order to force your rhymes.
Spit shine, the ornament catcher, your dollar sign fine, I want more of it.
Your dollar sign fine, I want more of it. Probably the most hilarious line in here.
This little masterpiece that has the cohesion of one of those magnetic poetry kits, and just picking a bunch of words, making one section, picking another set of words, making another section, making one of the most uncohesive pieces of music I've heard in a long time.
This is a track that could use about 80% less Kesha and 200% more T-Pain. This is a song that should be a T-Pain song, and that chorus with that, that's something that should be given to a different artist.
The biggest issue entails what it omits. How on earth do you have a song called Yippee-Ki-Yay that avoids completing the Die Hard quote?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
It's not like Kesha sidesteps profanity. She opens the song by calling me a bitch.
I just got a brand new car.
Yeah, we know. We heard Joyride. We let Kesha get away with Timber 12 years ago because Timber sounds as fun as it thinks it is. This comes across like a desert sandcastle made from what fell out of an overturned boot. Kesha has appeared on both these lists before, but this sounds like somebody's poisoned the water hole. Well, the watering hole at least. This has no value other than reminding us that peppering your song with the vaguest of country imagery will not persuade the Shaboozey fans that Kesha still has party anthems in her. More like bar none. Speaking of acts trying to reverse engineer themselves.
I have not used the word poser in pop music in a very long time. And we had the unfortunate winner, quote unquote, of the biggest poser of a while honor going to Tommy Richmond.
Said I'm sick and tired, all these people saying names. I don't wanna die, I wanna set the record straight.
Being the most absolute poser of swag, being the most absolute poser of this weird hip-hop pop combination, which I guess I could call Jack Harlow-esque, but I don't even know if Jack Harlow is a worthy comparison. But whether or not he is, Tommy Richmond is just being a complete poser with it.
We learned Tommy Richmond's career faces waning returns. I quite liked $1 Million Baby, as you've seen in previous videos, but this follow-up proves he only runs on residual fumes. Tommy opted to flashback to 2007 or so for this song. The synth Steel Pan tells me he listened to a lot of Soulja Boy. But that era of hip-hop remains buried with good reason. Hopefully Richmond won't end up hawking reworked Retron 5s. A striking number of songs pertain to having sex with children. Let's call a spade, right? Not minors, not young girls, children. Kids.
Young ladies, I like them underage. See, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory.
Explains Rob's stage name. In an industry ripe with pedophiles and ephebophiles, I also find it repulsive when adult executives pen sex jams for kids to sing. Almost every early Aaliyah song fits this bill, but it happens to the fellas as well. Case in point, Usher, who hit the ground running in 1997 with his second album My Way and the slow jam Nice and Slow. The album proper came out while Usher was only 18, so it stands to reason he probably recorded it while underaged.
I'll freak you right, I will. I'll freak you like no one has ever made you feel.
And for you kids that thought this went ignored, no, this topped the Billboard Hot 100. The record-buying public ignored the age gap because of, I don't know, abs, I guess. Someone needs to thoroughly delve into Jermaine Dupri's backdoor dealings, I swear. Usher didn't make any songs that qualified this year, so why bring them up? Because a song that did qualify attempted to woo women by invoking the sexual prowess of a nubile Usher Raymond. What paragon of taste would attempt such a feat? You already know.
Look who's back.
Oh no! Really?
Yeah.
Man, fuck this guy. I treat you well. No, you fucking won't. Lying right out of the gate.
You can't ignore it. The entire structure of the song revolves around that Usher sample. Chris Brown turned 36 in 2025, so I find it inexplicable for him to attempt to channel the sex appeal of a teenaged Usher less than half his age.
I wish cancel culture was real. I wish it was like a real thing. This guy shouldn't have a career.
It's this one? I like this song. It's like very catchy. I think what it is for me is it's a good beat, and honestly, I do like Chris Brown's music. I like his songs.
Your fairy tale under your spell, I am.
I like it. I'm sorry. I don't like Chris Brown as a person at all, but I do like the music, and I think that's okay to distinguish those. I'm so sorry. I do like it.
I guess I done ran out of options.
No kidding! It pains me that the black community refuses to let go of Chris Brown, because his ideas of picking up dime pieces involve calling them last resorts, and a specialty of Brown's, domestic assault. That isn't subtext, that's text.
Yeah, Chris Brown shouldn't be singing about giving someone welts.
That was I'll treat you well.
Oh, that's a lyric too.
I'll give you welts? Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a lyric.
Yeah.
That's really terrible.
Yeah.
Subtle.
I've seen the Police lineup.
Yeah, I feel like maybe your concept of treat you well is not in line with most people. That's horrifying.
I'm surprised this instrumental doesn't feature an elementary school choir blowing rape whistles in discordant unison.
He's actually saying can't call for help, knowing that he's Chris Brown.
Not content with aping the goodwill of just one more talented singer, It Depends sees Brown duet with Bryson Tiller, and when that empty shell outshines you, you know you need to hang it up. What little instrumental remains from producer Riot USA repeats 3 bass notes interspersed with drill percussion that sounds like Chris's purported paramour trying to unshackle herself from his basement sex dungeon handcuffs. I feel like I overdose on crazy pills when I see Chris Brown continue to get away with songs like this. We are 9 years removed from the abhorrent Back to Sleep, and he keeps getting away with it. Society turns a blind black eye to it as well. This made the top 20 on the Hot 100 in a particularly stagnant 2025. Hell, this song got multiple Grammy nominations, thankfully losing to Folded in both categories. I don't even like Folded that much, but I'll take that over this.
Oh, only number 7.
Only number 7.
Oh, man.
Are you familiar with 2025?
I'm not. I haven't been listening to a lot.
I'm not talking music. I'm talking as a year.
As a year, yeah. As a concept, yeah.
This only made it to number 7 because it feels like a lost cause to bring this up when most of you seem to not give a damn.
Chris Brown saying, like, I'll treat you right, but it all depends. That's sinister.
Chris Brown. He treats his women like he treats his allegations, in that he just can't stop beating them.
You know how when we were children, Penthouse Forum was more of a thing?
Yeah.
And you would read them, and in your young age, you'd be like, okay, this actually seems like it has some hotness to it. But as you mature and as you age, you're like, these are lies.
Yeah.
Same energy.
I think people kind of take for granted that a lot of the people whose like work they enjoy or like artists they admire, like they kind of take for granted. Like, yeah, they're probably gonna be kind of a piece of shit, isn't everybody? But it's like, no, they're not. Like most people aren't. Actually, we don't have to make allowances for somebody who regularly gets arrested for beating the shit out of people.
I want to point out that the advertisement that came up afterwards was for the United States Air Force. They know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was a remix that came out of this song not a week ago, and instead of Bryson Tiller, it features R. Kelly.
Oh man. They're really doubling down on that.
Speaking of the American public having no clue about good taste, Nothing Burger American Idol winner Scotty McCreery followed up his 2024 Grand Ole Opry induction with an experimental EP where he, quote, performed some songs that are different from my normal sound. Well, you could have fooled me because Bottle Rockets sounds squarely in his wheelhouse, until the jump scare of Hold My Hand.
I didn't really care for this song for 2 reasons. First, it's a pretty generic country song and it doesn't really stand out from the rest of the pack. And second, it doesn't just sample Hold My Hand, it pretty much is Hold My Hand with a little bit before and after. And I don't really feel like there's any reason to choose this song over the original. So, sorry Scotty McCreery, sorry Darius Rucker, the original was much better and there was really no reason for this song to exist.
If you omit the blowfish parts, the lyrics telegraph a gap for any older song to slot in, provided they could get the rights and steal the dignity of anyone willing to sign on. These 2 songs have nothing to do with each other. Bottle Rockets sounds like every other country reminiscence of the times when segregated water fountains still existed, and Darius Rucker croons of taking on the world together in Hold My Hand. These subjects come at odds with each other, and essentially playing both tunes together to close the song out won't lead me to believe it works. Scotty should go hold some bottle rockets in his hand and let us know how that works out. It might make for a more coherent song. The past few years have seen the DJ Intelligence charts, or Event Intelligence chart, the terms are interchangeable, feature 1 or 2 older songs for various reasons. Maybe a song had a resurgence thanks to an entertainment tie-in. We saw this happen just last year with Curtis Mayfield. We've also learned that sometimes alternate versions of songs make their way in these videos. You know what video you clicked on, so you know what happened this time around. One word. How?
I'm on tonight, you know my hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel you, boy. Come on, let's go.
What? I didn't know this existed.
You mean to tell me that this live performance of Hips Don't Lie made it to DJ Intelligence? Either their music software automatically updated every Hips Don't Lie request to this new version, or Spotify commits streaming fraud on a larger scale than I could have ever fathomed. Of course, the fact that we have a new version of a song I never cared much for means that this had an uphill battle to start.
I still don't like Shakira's voice. Still don't. Never will. Never will.
Don't really know what I'm doing, but just seem to have a plan. My will.
It's like she's trying to swallow her tongue every time she sings. Ugh.
It's jarring, man. Like, Shakira still got it, I think.
Shakira has like 3 moves. But as heterosexual cishet men, like, we get it.
Yeah.
Shakira's voice works in certain cases, but Hips Don't Lie's monotonous mid-2000s reggaeton beat is not one of them. Wyclef helps break things up, but you can chalk everything up as a fun fusion of their respective cultures. Meanwhile, we get to commemorate 20 years of this song without Wyclef Jean. You cannot tell me Clef was truly unavailable if the Grammys proved anything. So, while he gets to avoid my haterade by taking part in another Haiti raid, we trade in Clef for Ed Sheeran?
Hey girl, I can see your body moving, and it's driving me crazy.
Really basic white dude thing, and he's trying to work his way into these like ethnic remixes. I'm not getting it.
Oh god, this is an Ed Sheeran song.
This sounds like what Christian conservatives think Bad Bunny should have done at the halftime show. Ed sounds fine, I guess, but it has that aura of wrongness that fills the air whenever he sings in Spanish. Just like in South of the Border.
So they replaced Wyclef Jean with Ed Sheeran?
Yes.
That is a crime, man.
This new instrumentation has no punch behind it. You would think a live performance would have energy, oomph, anything. But this sounds like a bunch of session lifers waiting to punch out for lunch. Spotify's compression algorithm appears on full display here and has wrung out all the character of this song into a giant gooey mess. Less paper mache and more collaborative spitball. And who's this guy? Seeing Bailey's... How the hell do you say Bailey? Bailey? Belly? Beelzebub? Seeing Bele's name on paper made me first think, oh great, the super lonely chick had another hit. But no, he's a rising star from Colombia. Neat, but kind of an odd choice to have to fill a role non-existent in the original.
Probably the only thing he understood when this came out. Because he's 23, so he would have been like 6 when this came out. God.
Did someone think Shakira lacked the Latin credentials to redo her own song? Well, the way she performs this song, I can kind of understand the concern. Shakira's voice sounds like she spent some time visiting the same areas that Spotify's money helps bomb.
That said, Hips Don't Lie is a classic, so did I bop to the music? I did. But if it's not broke, why fix it? And the original Hips Don't Lie is beyond perfect, so really, why mess with it? And they definitely messed with it in this context. So I could see why it would be taking some hate and end up maybe on the worst list. There was no need to make this song.
That's one spot worse than Chris Brown.
One spot worse than Chris Brown. I think it didn't need to happen. Oh, look at the thumbnail. Look at... That's so awkward, man.
This version of Hips Don't Lie will quickly fall to the wayside after this year, if it hasn't already. While I don't love the original, it still works far better than this corporate retread. Ooh baby, when you sing like that, you make a fellow go mad.
No, I think this Ed Sheeran feature is going to embolden white people to do more white people shit. Which, as a white dude, I could say they shouldn't be doing.
Now, I hate to be the guy that always picks that country music. I feel like I'm on these lists year after year going after country music. But the thing about country music is, when it's bad, it's really bad. It just makes a bad example of itself. And Miami is just one of those songs that are just so bad, so misguided that it makes my skin crawl. I understand the basic sentiment of what it's trying to do. Oh my goodness, what is a redneck like me gonna do in this town that isn't full of rednecks? Miami is just such an odd choice of a town that isn't full of rednecks to cover. Like, I'm not exactly asking Morgan Wallen to do research before he writes a song. I know that would be too much. And I'm certainly not asking him to listen to other related songs, like especially in Miami by Will Smith, because that will require listening to music by a black artist, which I know Morgan Wallen is definitely not interested in doing.
None of the problems Wallen mentions here are exclusive to Miami.
Bad analogy, number 1A.
I can keep my gun in my truck in Miami.
Yes, you absolutely can do that in Miami. It's in Florida. Morgan also tries to make all these cute puns like,
You got me in my head for a couple days now.
and of course he's trying to tie it to Miami, but it just doesn't work. He doesn't do a good enough job of relating it back to like why he's talking about Miami in the first place. It just doesn't make sense as a song.
He just wanted to use the sample. Lil Wayne just rambles about random things as he is wont to do.
He gets obsessed with things like shrimp poisoning, which doesn't really make sense, and I mean, it certainly would take a lot of shrimp to get shrimp poisoning, so I don't know why Lil Wayne is so worried about it.
And Rick Ross totally kills the mood by mentioning the passing of his father, so I find it hard to believe anyone involved tried.
3 different verses that are just copy-pasted together because Morgan Wallen wanted to show the world that he had black friends.
These 3 are so lazy, the Dolphins, they did cry.
And yet somehow, this made the DJ Intelligence 100 most requested songs list, and here we are. You're doing our work for us. Of course this is gonna make a dishonorable mention, right?
Well, that isn't any worse an interpolation of Hootie than the last dishonorable mention. And Morgan probably shares the trans panic of the Dolphins from that first Ace Ventura film.
Your number's still 911? Oh, righty then.
I know, you probably thought I had finished with the Hootie and the Blowfish bits. Well, I have. I still can't avoid more of this guy.
You don't want this heart, boy, it's already broke. Told me everything she touched just goes up and
I don't think you should be able to have a drum machine on your song. You shouldn't be allowed to have any hip-hop influenced beats on your song if you're throwing the N-word around like he does, but that's just my opinion.
I can be country, I can be bro-y, I can be hip-hop. Morgan's shown that on Broadway Girls, and ugh, goodness.
Miami at least attempted something with its sample. This just sounds cynical and ultimately pointless. Nothing screams contractual obligation more than this duet. Although, can you really call it a duet? Tate McRae sounds like she's wailing over a karaoke backing track. These two have the chemistry of people that met on Epstein Island.
Like, they want to be hip-hop, but they don't want to say they're hip-hop. So it's country, it's new country, it's bro country, it's annoying.
This is fucking coworker music.
We harped on Tate McRae last year, but a lot of her faults come to a head here. She only has one mode of performance, and this type of song doesn't fall in her wheelhouse. You'd think she would know how to croon and swoon about the poon by now. The only inspiration behind her appearance on this comes from wanting a Billboard #1 by riding Morgan Wallen's coattails.
A #1 hit that she is barely promoted, mind you, and I think that's the right call, but it's very funny how that worked out.
Just in time for Billboard to gatekeep all their chart history to their paid subscribers. Enjoy your plaque when no one can see it.
Certainly the song shot up on the Billboard chart, but you didn't really hear it on country radio, surprisingly, and when it feels like so many of his other songs off that album have hit country radio. I'm the Problem, I Got Better, Just in Case, his song I Ain't Coming Back with Post Malone just hit country radio, but What I Want was one that didn't hit the country radio for one reason or another.
Morgan's no slouch in the crap department either. He made it a point to mention that this marked his first duet with a woman, but with the subject matter ripped straight from the headlines of dating app serial killer origin stories, and Morgan's co-opting of AAVE when proper grammar would work just as well.
She said, you don't want this heart, boy, it's already broke.
Not broken, broke.
Told me everything she touched just goes up in smoke.
Not touches, touch.
It's good communication. I'll give him that. Like, it's good to air that out, to say your intent, you know, that's healthy.
Take notes, Chris Brown.
Yeah, I think Morgan Wallen had a different type of supporting artist in mind. One he could fantasize about owning on a plantation someday. Less Tate McRae, more underground McRae Road.
You know, again, certainly did not expect Tate McRae and Morgan Wallen to work together, and Tate actually got some backlash a little bit for partnering with Morgan Wallen, certainly for, I guess, political reasons, one reason or another.
She doesn't really add anything to the song. I feel like this could be a Morgan solo song and it would sound the exact same. Would it be better for it? I don't really think so, but I don't think Tate makes it any better for being here either. Unfortunately, she doesn't have Mutt Lange behind her to give her a really solid song, or Morgan a really solid song. I feel like with the right sound, you could make Morgan work, but unfortunately, it's not his usual sound.
Subtext aside, I'm gonna spoil the Total Blender episode on this song because these two voices absolutely do not blend. We managed an authentic sounding duet with Unforgettable 35 years ago, and Nat King Cole died back in the 1960s. Yet it sounds more genuine and heartfelt than these two alter egos of ICE agents. Look, Tate's from Alberta. There's a non-zero chance.
There's so much better country that we could be promoting out there, and yet we're still stuck with Morgan. Great.
And speaking of sticking it to minorities,
Just keep watching. Just keep watching.
no!
So I do not like Tate McRae's music. I do like her kind of overall, like her vibe. I do think she's an amazingly talented dancer. I know from like the dance community side. I do think she's over-sexualized, and I really don't like when women do that. Like, I am all for sexy, powerful, strong, dressing up. Like this moment right here, love it. The black cat suit, that's great. You know, especially that Diet Pepsi song, which was not Tate McRae. That was Addison Rae. But it's that same genre of just like over-sexualized, like that, bent over in a bikini. Good for you!
I know AI makes it difficult to detect plagiarism, but surely someone else must have noticed that this borrows more than a few elements from Beyonce's My Power, right?
Take my power, my power, my power. Don't never take my power, my power, my power. Just keep watching. Just keep watching.
Tate McRae can never let a song just breathe. Every moment of the verse is not stuffed with empty calories of lyrics, insists on blaring a drone of yeah, 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 yeah into every orifice.
Just wanna go till lights out. Take it right back to my place. You watch your mind.
Never mind that this has nothing to do with the film.
Why isn't she driving her car?
Thank you.
It's about racing. Why isn't she driving her car?
I think she only let F1 have this song in a vain attempt at an Oscar nomination, which she never received. It's the only course of action that makes sense because this has nothing to do with the film. I think she should heed the film title a little more closely. The F1 key on a keyboard triggers help, which Tate clearly needs. This car swerved off track some time ago.
Just keep watching.
I have to work harder this year to make me sound smarter.
Finally, we finished this Morgan Wallen Tate McRae sandwich, so let's wash that down with the only true rap song on the worst list this year.
We have actual black music now. What is black? I mean, all music is black music.
All music is black music, yeah.
I know the government approves of the eradication of most hip-hop from pop culture in the past few years, but I can truly report that the DJ Intelligence list features a much wider array of genres than Billboard managed in 2025. Unfortunately, we watched in real time as many Kendrick songs, TV Off, Squabble Up, even Luther, got bumped off the eligibility chart. I wish all of what it took its place was good.
Why, yes, I realize I'm wearing a shirt covered in whammies, but no, I'm not contributing to the entry for this song. Too easy.
Listening to this song makes me understand why racists join ICE. Producer Zaytoven has had his fingers all over Southern rap for 2 decades now, but his impact began and ended with Versace by Migos.
Versace, 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 Versace.
Not a great start to a track record, but I can't help but wonder if he thought another artist got this beat. In 2020, he worked on the collaborative album by Future and Lil Uzi Vert entitled Pluto crossed with Baby Pluto. And now we have a woman going by Pluto. Makes you think. These two no-names bring nothing to the table. Taking note of the success Sexy Red had in 2024, not 2025, just 2024. Pluto comes off as such a retread to the point of dyeing her hair pink. Sexy Pink as a name probably infringes upon a few Victoria's Secret trademarks, so Pluto it is. Her bars make about as much sense as dialogue from the Disney character of the same name.
He want me back, her here.
Not helping your case. Although if he's not wearing pants, I guess the comparison invites itself.
Can't get no coochie at the queen, put some Lulu on his butt.
2 lines in, and we've already reached the goal of this song. A cosign from a corporate sponsor.
That's my time, I'm trying to fuck bitchin' right now.
Wait, I thought he couldn't get coochie out the queen. Did I just say that? Some say mixed signals. I say she had a little artificial assistance writing these lines.
2 guiding forces of the universe is money and ass. And that's the universal constant.
Despite the barely over 2-minute runtime, this posse cut features YK Nice, another rapper who rolled a nat 1 for charisma. It doesn't help that half her verse repeats the same lines Pluto already mentioned. I looked at another song of hers, and if you thought I exaggerated the truth mentioning AI, well...
I can watching bitches that can't fuck with me, they know that. Like bitch, you mad, you will never get your hoe back.
I think that video about sums it up. Whim Whammy has nothing to say.
I feel like she does not have very good friends. Like her pants are unbuttoned and nobody told her.
So much to tell them that usually you throw hundreds in these videos, not 20s.
Well, work with what you
That's
got.
an economic indicator right there.
Yeah, it's a recession indicator for sure. I don't even know what to... I don't even know what just happened.
The fact that we had to listen to this instead of all those Kendrick songs infuriates me.
Because that's number 4 on the worst list.
4 on the worst? Yeah, I understand it. Like, yeah, I get it. But I think that was all right. I thought it was a lot of fun.
I feel like they're clearly having a good time, but that's one of the most annoying voices I've ever heard, and I've heard a lot. That's rough. The field is more open and populated with a lot of really talented female rappers.
Yeah.
And there were then too, but they weren't getting as much attention. There's just like a handful. Now I feel like, yeah, that's not good enough.
We'll probably never hear from either of these two again, especially with Republicans taking over the TikTok algorithm. Just think of all the dozens of view farming bots that'll disappoint.
Last year, I made a reference to Sexy Red, which I don't think is a song that you did. That was the one where the guy had sex with a pie in the video.
No.
You know, the one. And I said that Sexy Red is like a covert ops mission by the white people who run the music industry to make black people look worse.
Okay.
And considering 2025 and the rise of contemporary Christian music and Christian music's had a huge resurgence this year. And Alex Warren and a bunch of other like religious adjacent music, I might have been right.
Who got big in
Alex
contemporary?
Warren was a TikToker and now he makes religious music.
Okay.
It was number 1 for like 10 weeks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know that I've heard of him.
You're not gonna say much.
So, I listened to contemporary Christian music growing up, but I grew up
Well, now those are oldies.
quite a while ago.
Those
Yes.
are oldies. Is there a Christian oldies market?
I don't think so.
Christian oldies sounds like a slur.
It does.
Get out of here, you Christian oldie.
Yeah, I understand that it's on the worst list. Still like it though.
It's a ringtone rap song. We don't have ringtones anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I need to figure out how to make that my ringtone. Imagine me with that as my ring. Just my phone goes off.
You're at the bank.
Yeah.
Waiting in line. Wham whammy!
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Graham. How's it going? Love you too.
No, that's Wim Grammy. That's different.
Wim Grammy. Oh, no.
Well, bitch, you burnt out.
Maybe they wrapped that line to these two. Despite what the government wants you to think, laziness spans all backgrounds. This only got big because of the self-inflicted victimhood of Christianity. Sam Barber fumbled his American Idol audition in 2022 to the point where it never televised. And Avery Anna, a permanent opening act with a failed single Narcissist from around the same time,
You say I'm dramatic, I'm overreacting, and maybe I am.
also sounds like she just wants to make it to that second round because it's her dream, guys! Indigo sounds far too amateurish in its instrumentation.
This is a decent-ish demo. It needs like a slide guitar or something like that, and maybe a little more powerful singers on it.
Stripping this down only reveals the lack of content.
Some people compare his voice to Hank Williams? Hank Williams? Which one?
Who's riding whose bandwagon here anyway? This symbiotic relationship is doomed to fail. Leave this dead in the water where its indigo hue might be justifiable. But let's tune out the purple a smidge for this next one.
Yeah, you got me throwing blue strips, bad tits in a strip club, throwing ones at your bitch.
Blue Strips works as a title because this litmus test sounds utterly basic.
Some artists in particular have very low ceilings, very low maximum potential that they can do. Some artists have very low floors, meaning the absolute worst of their worst is as low as it gets. Jessie Murph is one of those unfortunate people that has both. One of the lowest ceilings I've seen in a long time, because I feel she cannot properly emote or convey as a performer, and one of the very lowest floors of all time.
You know, after Wild Ones, I think at the time I was even like, maybe she can do better. After High Road, maybe there was some hope to be had. And then we get Blue Strips and it's like, oh boy, I was wrong.
Never mind that the opening line assaults your senses immediately.
Boy, I'm mad, boy, I'm mad, boy, I'm mad at you. I had to get back at you, I had to get back at you.
Way to lay the plot bare right out the gate. Again, who told Jessie Murph she could sing?
Like, it's just nothing but her nasally voice and it sounds awful. And that's part of the chorus and it's just like, oh my gosh.
But if you look past that, I can hear this terribly clipped synthetic crash cymbal.
I just bought a mansion in Malibu.
This song floods the field with so many negatives that I can barely keep track. This couplet has no rhythm to speak of, and the second line tapers off into a vapor.
You know how I get with an attitude.
When your choruses feel so claustrophobic with this rigid plodding beat, having no basis or groove elsewhere makes you sound like you wrote this in an hour, Jessie. Oh, and great, she made a genius video about this. Hoo boy!
The day I wrote this, it was a very long day. We made the song in like 15 minutes, I think.
Well, that tracks more than her hair extensions.
I just bought a mansion in Malibu. I don't live in Malibu. I was manifesting.
I feel nothing when listening to this.
So I don't dislike Jessie Murph. I do find her voice very unique, and I kind of like her voice, so I've liked some of her songs, honestly. But this one is pretty repetitive.
I know what she wants to sing about, but she sidesteps any sort of detail, like she wrote a college thesis based solely on the course description. This fits because Murph sounds like she has no idea what career path she wants. When not cribbing from the worst aspects of Halsey, Murph also put out a failed attempt at satire with 1965, a song that paints Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris in a much better light.
I think I give up a few rides if you would just love me.
He probably bopped to this.
This is boring. I think this is why I don't like a lot of songs like Hours and Hours and Hours and Hours the one year. Some songs are just boring and they're just flat and I want to listen to them for 30 seconds. And then I'm sort of, that's all I'll get from this song, is 30 seconds in, you can move on.
There are songs where lyrical content is why they made this list. Sometimes it's the music, and to be fair, the music in this one's not. It's very dark and dreary. And when you have that with the piercing vocals of Jessie Murph, it's not good. It sucks.
I understand the conceit of hitting the strip club with your girls in revenge, but you can't play this while you do it because it has too many sparse sections. It straddles the line between pointed jab and ironically reflective ballad, and she meets neither goal.
Honestly, in a way, she kind of reminds me a lot of Lana Del Rey, where she's also trying to be a chameleon and trying to fit her voice into everything. That doesn't always work for Lana either. But Lana at least has a good way of knowing what her style is and how she can at least try to blend it into these different styles.
You know she has so little talent that even that aforementioned Genius interview features auto-tune.
I'ma take it off on him, I'ma strip down all your runs.
I have yet to meet anyone that likes this song, either the original or the as of yet unmentioned remix with, who else, Sexy Red.
I just bought a fast car so I can run over you.
I guess Jessie realized the only way she'd scrape together any cred involved finding someone even worse and making false equivalences.
You know, the last thing you want your revenge song to be is Boy.
This was her revenge song?
Yeah, it's all it's all about leaving a guy and like, I'm gonna sex it up and gain revenge in the strip club.
Yeah, she is saying gonna get back at you. I didn't know, you know, fuck everybody who says that they couldn't understand Bad Bunny. I didn't know she was saying wanna get back at you, or wanna get back with you, or wanna get back at you or with you. Like, that last song, I didn't hear Welts.
The phrase blue strips refers to newer $100 bills, obviously, but the real blue strips that this song truly invokes appear on a DIY pregnancy test. I'll leave it to you to decide whether she should keep it.
Russell Dickerson, that's a made-up name.
All names are made up.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And now she's singing, girls just wanna have fun at the top of her lungs. Don't even know she.
Like, I understand I'm not far off from this guy in age, man, but I'm not writing midlife crisis music. I don't have a fuck-ass midlife crisis haircut.
Russell Dickerson is not as fun as he thinks he is. Yeah, Russell, I bet girls want to have fun. You are not fun. You look like Jesse Murph's former sugar daddy.
Why is this 40-year-old man singing to these ladies? Why is he... He looks like the bad guy from a Trailer Park Boys episode. He's got divorced energy. Derogatory.
Well, the fact that he's wearing a high school Letterman's jacket with his own name on it. That's the Letterman jacket you wear when you're homeschooled. It's got your own initials.
Your own initials. It's weird to have a music video with all of these 80s references in it, and then you're like singing it to women who were not born at that time. What the fuck kind of advertising? I mean, not bad products, but I think this is... King's Hawaiian could do better than this.
Heavy music seems stuck in a rut these days. Most of the elder statesmen are, well, just that. Elder statesmen. Megadeth just put out their final album in January 2026. Slayer has sporadically toured as a legacy act for a while now. And most of you watching this know nothing about this genre, so I could lob anything your way, and you'd either tune it out or buy it whole cloth. I get that you may not know the intricacies separating black metal from melodic death metal, and heaven help you if the word progressive pops up, but trust me, the only genre this neatly fits in bears the title of garbage.
I've been a metal fan for a long time, and you know, it should be exciting for a metal song to hit the charts for people like me, because it's like, oh, we're in this day and age now where anything can go viral on TikTok and become trendy and move up the charts, and it's really honestly nice to have music moving organically up the charts.
These guys took note of the success Ghost has had with their faceless minion gimmick, so this two-piece band of anonymous members, even though you can totally find out who each person is if you dig hard enough, relies on imagery and mystique to sell their music. If only they focused on making good music, because how the hell did this crack the top 40?
Hey, let's take a look at this song. This song starts off with this old reggaeton thump thump beat coming over. 50 seconds in,
I said heavier music spins its wheels these days, but throwing something as jarring as a reggaeton beat into the mix makes no sense holistically. Maybe Vessel dons that mask to hide brown face.
I didn't do any research on this song ahead of time, which is very against my normal MO. But I came into the song completely blind, and I thought this was just, you know, kind of a normal whatever song, and then I got further in and I was pretty blown away and not in a good way.
You cannot tell me someone actually wrote these lyrics. Vessel gardens like he writes music, without any care of how the parts interact with each other.
Suddenly, he's doing terrible rapping in the second verse.
What are you looking at? You wearing a mask.
No one talks like this. Throw in the verbal diarrhea surrounding it, and this sounds less poetic and more poorly translated. Or generated. I think he sings for the longing of a woman, but referring to this as a war of attrition makes me think the token of his affections better keep one eye open while she sleeps.
What does that mean? Yeah, this is a lot of word salad, man. Of the final parallel.
And then you get to the big moment, the payoff. 3 minutes in, when suddenly Vessel screams and the breakdown starts.
Okay.
Gent only sounds good to people who can't play guitar.
Definitely not a fan of this. I think the only thing that this song is good for is if you're trying to scare an old person to death.
And this moment that should be climactic ends up being one of the worst musical moments of the year. It just makes no sense.
Cacophonous open chords serve as trite dynamic contrast from whatever the hell happened earlier in the song. Take away the distortion though, and everything sounds nominal. That riff lacks anything interesting enough to justify itself.
This song is honestly a genre exercise more than a song. It's like someone was like, hey, Copilot.
I can't chalk this up as a one-off either. Emergence also sucks ass with nonsense phrases such as carbide on my nano.
Are you carbide on my nano? Red glass on my light bulb, dark light on my culture.
And you thought I over-exaggerated the technology leanings. And a random saxophone solo at the end. Shouse, is that you? Sleep Token insists on getting high on their own supply regarding their image. Bands like Coheed and Cambria have albums of lore, but you can disregard it because they write good music behind it all. This band lacks such luxury. It surprises me that the AI label gets thrown around too many pop stars, but somehow this faceless band gets by scot-free. This screams factory made even more than Xenia Onatopp or whatever that fully AI singer is that nobody remembers. Whatever that... Can you misgender a computer program?
I admire diversity. I admire artists trying to do different things and do different genres in one song, but you have to have limits. You have to realize that sometimes stuff just doesn't work. And like, this is painful and embarrassing to listen to.
Sleep Token. What it sounds like if an abandoned mall's hot topic gains sentience and congealed into predatory slop. When your first album goes by the title Sundowning, everything that follows suggests that you should be escorted off stage and into a home.
This song is great if you like your caramel chunky.
I do kind of like metal.
I had a feeling, which is why I wanted to give you one.
Yeah.
You're not getting the Sleep Token song.
Guess I don't know that one.
It's like, oh shit, here we go again. Another night out here with all my friends.
At least these losers lack the fake sense of integrity. A Day to Remember has always tried to sell out, and they certainly managed to this time. I don't care how you set your knobs on your amps. The four chords of pop music and singing about all the good times you have in the bar make this far closer to mallcore than metalcore. Is a little candor too much to ask?
I feel like this would be a pretty good video to get drunk from. Like you could play a shots game. Every time somebody does a shot in the video, you do a shot. You'd be hammered by the end of the video.
But then you burn down the bar.
Then you burn down the bar.
All my friends.
So all we have left are the number ones on each side.
I think raccoons can smoke cigarettes. My rule is if an animal has thumbs, it can smoke cigarettes. If it doesn't have thumbs, that's...
What if a human had their thumbs blown off in a dynamite-related accident?
Yeah, if your species is a thumb-having species, you can smoke a cigarette.
What if you have two thumbs on one hand?
You can smoke 2 cigarettes at once.
What is it, polydactyly when you have 6 fingers? Yeah. What happens if you have like 4 fingers, 2 thumbs?
That's like the Hunter S. Thompson peyote button thing. You can smoke anything at that point.
I thought this was the steeple.
I used to love making YouTube videos, but witnessing the corporatization of the platform really takes the wind out of my sails. S-A-I-L-S, not S-A-L-E-S.
Why is Tinder advertising?
Yikes. Double dating on Tinder?
People can't even get one person to swipe on. I was gonna say.
A non-daily birth control that lasts for
Also, what does this have for Nexplanon? This is the Middle Ages and it's birth control?
I don't think they did that in the
You know what their birth control was? Dying before they turned 15.
Yep.
I refuse to run ads on my videos because I hate them, and I would never willingly subject an audience to something I dislike. Content of a worse list notwithstanding. However, putting a blatant shill at the zenith spot means that the entire video led up to what amounts to marketing. I truly, deeply apologize. In these times when it feels like the boot stamps our faces for eternity, it only feels right that the boot makes it to the top.
This is hard to do with one hand. Full house, damn it.
Everywhere you look, everywhere's a heart, is a heart.
Dos pareja.
Hey. Hi, I'm Kevin, and I'm from Red Bank, Tennessee. And you know who else is from Red Bank, Tennessee? Kane Brown. And you know who's number one on our worst list this year? Also Kane Brown. Now, Red Bank is just a name for part of Chattanooga. Chattanooga is that part of Tennessee that's almost in Georgia, but not quite. Kind of like Two Pair is almost a song, but instead it's just a shoe commercial, you know? Kind of like that.
Upstate New York likes to pretend it has country authenticity, what with its lifted pickups, failing job market, and our extensive collection of racists. None of the people I've asked have ever heard of Lucchese boots. Maybe they actually needed to market themselves. Unfortunately, not every advertisement can have something as timeless as the Hesselsons jingle.
When you think boots, think Hesselsons. Hi, I'm Tom Hesselson, and Hesselsons is the place to buy your perfect pair of boots. Hesselsons carries the largest selection of safety toe work boots in this area. Timberland Pro, Carolina, Rocky, Danner, Georgia, Rockport Works, and for all the gas industry workers, Lacrosse and Muck. Hesselsons carries men's hikers from the best names like High-Tech, Lowen, Penetrek. Boot dryers, laces, mink oils, socks, and waterproofing. Hesselsons has it all. It's fun to poke in the corners at Hesselsons.
So brands resort to popular music. It's the only way indie rockers make any money.
And with a towing capacity of 1,500 pounds, you just might be able to bring your mother along on holidays.
I guess Lucchese couldn't afford a bar song by Shaboozey, so instead we have a boot song by Shabootsy here.
Song's just about boots?
Yes.
I think there's been better songs about shoes.
Shoes. Shoes. Oh, by the way, bitch.
Fuck you!
This is essentially a country version of being a sneakerhead. I mean, really, turn these two pairs of boots into some Jordans and you can give this song to Rick Ross.
5 years ago I put Cool Again by Kane Brown and Nelly on the worst list.
Well, this blows.
And Kane Brown apes more than a few notes from Nelly. You may recall the latter's 2002 posse cut Air Force Ones, a song that only exists to sell Nikes and kill the St. Lunatics' careers dead in the water. The music of that consists of a solitary measure repeated forever. Yet that still has more pleasing music than Two Pair.
And then there's just literally this 8-bar break in the middle. It's not a solo, it's literally just vamping for about 10-15 seconds. And then it goes right back into the chorus again. There's no changes, it's the same key. It's just pounding in the ground the same thing about the same shoe commercial over and over again. It's like it wants the commercial jingle to get stuck in your head, but he forgot to finish the song. Like he forgot this is actually a song, it's not a commercial, you need to finish it.
Does the chorus even have one note in it?
You know what would be real popular with everybody? Let's rip off the beat from We Will Rock You by Queen, the rhythm of Walk of Life from Dire Straits, and then sing over top of it about clothes. Yeah.
No actual guitar sounds like this. But Two Pair doesn't want to evoke a guitar. It wants to evoke a stadium, because stadiums mean people, mean popularity, mean peer pressure, mean products. Two pair of P terms. That's a whole lot of penis. I haven't seen this much pushing of P since Pushin' P.
On capital P, I write the president, count president.
Now, this song is really at heart, it's just an innocent song about a guy who spends all his money on his shoes. But you see, that's exactly the problem. Country music is supposed to be macho, it's supposed to be tough. $600 surprise credit card charges because you bought shoes are not tough.
The early model Ford Ranger is 3,000 pounds of solid steel beauty and guzzles gas like an Irishman downs whiskey.
Kane's lyrics only state that he likes this brand of footwear.
I like the snake skin, I like them buckaroos, I like the black cherry alligator pointed toe.
You know, I think I'm really gonna love a song when it starts out with the number of animals you killed to wear on your stinky ass feet.
He never says why he prefers them, other than that he has them.
They go at everything, I take them everywhere.
How about buying some boots for your kids? I imagine this company wants to promote an image of several people wearing their product, not just Kane Brown. They aren't your own bespoke cobbler, Kane. The only instance where he mentions the quality of the boot comes at the end of the second verse.
The way they sitting, buddy, you can tell they handmade.
Maybe they were at one point, but since Wrangler has owned this luxury brand for over 55 years, I think the handmade quality fell to the wayside. Like any other brand in the 2020s, Wrangler started pushing this because it wants to cater to its higher end market base. Twitch users may know this term as whales, when streamers subsist due to the fat pockets of one or two power users, while making the rest of the peons think they matter by saying their name once for a $10 donation.
It just doesn't feel like a country song. It just doesn't feel like a plausible scenario. You go out and hunt and fish, you don't buy shoes. Like, you don't go to Chattanooga Shoe Company, you go to Chattanooga Tackle Company. You don't go to 96 Kicks, you go to 96 Fishing Lures, you know?
This song is nothing more than propaganda for the shareholding fat cats. Kane can go wear his Lucchese's over in the UAE, but for the self-appointed country fans he has amassed over a decade, Two Pair remains a pop-up that you can only minimize. Once you think the song went away, it still runs in the background, drip-feeding subliminal messages, and before you know it, you end up in debt over steel toes.
I was worried this was going to happen because he made Miles on it with Marshmello last year, and it's like Marshmello poisoned him or something. Because suddenly, like, this is the best you could do? It's a song about shoes, just repeats the same thing over and over.
Ollie said in 2002 that he needs two per. But nobody needs this song.
What I need are two pair of earplugs to shove into my ears, deep into the canals, so that I don't have to listen to this when it's blasting on the dock.
I wish I could click skip ad and avoid this song at every opportunity.
Better songs about boots. There have been.
Well, what are there? What are songs about boots? Boots and cats and boots and cats? That's better. If I were to just type in boots. These boots were made for walking? That's a better song. Even the Megadeth version is better. Actually, yeah, I'll say Boots Scootin' Boogie is a better song.
Yeah. There's better songs about boots on this list. Like, if you could figure out how to make that song about, like, hamburgers, I bet Applebee's would love that.
Give me 2 buns. With sesame seeds. All dressed up with a pickle on the side.
All right, sorry we're wasting so much film.
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 Let me change the reel real quick.
Listen. What is it? Memory card.
Yes.
Data. I don't know.
Yes.